Let's bring in former Republican Congressman Charlie Dent of Pennsylvania for more. Congressman, thank you for coming on. I know you were the chair of the House Ethics Committee. So what do you make of this controversy over whether or not the committee should share this report on Matt Gaetz with the Senate?
Well, ordinarily, if a member of Congress resigns from the House Ethics Committee loses jurisdiction over the investigation. But in this case, it appears that the investigation was complete, and all that had to happen was for the committee to vote on the report and then to release it to the public. And so I suspect the committee will be under tremendous pressure. I know they are under tremendous pressure to release this report. I believe precedent would allow them to do so. Again, ordinarily they wouldn't do it. But I would also recommend, too, that when this report is released, you will see that it is damning. The committee is probably likely to recommend some sort of sanction against Matt Gaetz, whether it's a reprimand, censure, or even an expulsion, although that's moot at this point since he resigned. They can do all those things. But you also have, the United States Senate that is, now vetting Matt Gaetz as part of its nomination process for Attorney General, and they will want this report as part of their record as they look into his candidacy for this position. So it suggests to me that the committee will probably convene, and I hope they do release it. But at this point, it's hard to say. They typically wouldn't do it. And I was involved with many of these types of investigations over the years. And these are thorough, professional investigations, and these are really serious people who do these things on a nonpartisan basis. And by the way, that ethics committee is evenly divided: 5 Republican, 5 Democrats. So whatever what's in this report, if it's agreed to, it will be done probably on a unanimous basis.
What do you make of the other picks Trump has made for key positions so far?
Wow. Waltz, Congressman Waltz, I think, is a solid pick. Marco Rubio, a solid pick. And there's some others. Zeldin's a good pick, although I was surprised they put him at EPA. It didn't strike me as his expertise. But I, like everybody, the Matt Gaetz selection is simply gobsmacking. I mean, how could he? And then there was, of course, there's Tulsi Gabbard. She's going to come under great scrutiny because of her ties to Syrian President Assad and some of the statements she's made about Russia. And I think that's really going to be a challenge for her. Same thing, too, of course, with RFK Jr., who's, kind of a conspiracy theorist, engages in quackery and anti-vaxxer. That's also probably, after Gaetz, the most serious problem is RFK Jr. I mean, we're trying to talk about protecting the public, and if we're going to do away with vaccines or ignore vaccine science, I can't think of anything that would be more harmful to the health and safety of many of our citizens.
Do you think some of these more controversial picks, like Gaetz, like RFK Jr., will have a difficult time getting confirmed by the Senate?
Yeah, in the case of, say, Matt Gaetz, I believe that nomination will have to be withdrawn at some point. I just can't see his nomination getting through. I suspect there'll be plenty of folks who will be prepared to vote against him on the Republican side. Yeah, RFK Jr., I would hope there would be plenty of votes against him as well, but we'll see. And I am one who is skeptical that the U.S. Senate will use this recess appointment process on some of these very controversial or unqualified nominees. Yeah, Senator Thune is a good man. He is an institutionalist. And I suspect, that recess appointment process should be used very sparingly, maybe for a qualified candidate, but is in some political difficulty. You might remember John Bolton, I believe, secured his position after a recess appointment. I mean, you could say what you will about John Bolton, but he's very smart. He's qualified, but obviously politically, challenging for many. But that's not what we're talking about with Matt Gaetz or RFK Jr. We're talking about people who simply seem to be unfit or unqualified.
All right. Former Congressman Charlie Dent, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.